this is gonna be a how to whip tutorial, I think. Yes. Now I'm not good at this game by all means, but I have been playing it for a minute and I can do some things like that right there. But yeah, it's also gonna be a setup tutorial, kind of a beginner's guide to playing MX Sim. So let's do the setup. So this is my suspension. If you want to like screenshot it, whatever. This 80, 50, 75, 50, 100, 30, 100, 90, 50, 90, 50, 28, 50. This varies. The higher you put this, the more speed you will have, but the less low end you will have. So I just have, or actually no, the lower you put it, the more high speed you will have. I just always keep it at 12 on the front sprocket though. This I'm not really sure what it does. But I just have it like that and it works good for me. I just have my rider masters distribution like that, and I always keep this at 0. I normally run anti-lock, but I'm just messing around with it right now. Clutch RPMs 5,000, stability 0, 370 for front brake torque, 500 for rear, max dive speed is 52. Now, if you want to whip and like really throw down, you need to have a stability setup that's either 0 or somewhat close to 0. You know what I'm saying? So if you have like a really stable setup, it's not gonna work, like at all. But you need reverse steering on, otherwise you won't be able to play the game. Yeah, I'll go over controls just because I found out things. So for throttle, obviously just the triggers, front brake, I have as the left trigger, rear brake, left bumper, left, obviously left stick, left, right stick, right. Clutch, I just push in the left stick. Upshift, I have it as Y or triangle, depending on what controller you have. Downshift, I have as square or X. Sit/dab, I have as right bumper. Back up, I have as push in right stick. Now the lean forward and lean back, I have it different from the left and right. So the left and right is just left stick, left and right. For the lean forward and back, I have a right stick as forward and back. It gives you like, it's easier to move the bike a lot quicker if you do it like that. Pause, I just have as my menu button on my controller. Now this stuff doesn't really have to do with the actual game, it's just recording stuff. So, now what do I do? Stability setup. Okay, here. So I have my leveling at 21, roll damping 36, roll limit angle 50, roll limit factor is 4, steering damping is 34, max steering strength is 100 because you want to really be able to move it around. Max steering force also all the way up, direct steering all the way up. Slow damping speed is 40, slow damping factor is 2. Landing damping ramp up is 13. Landing damping fall up is 12. Landing damping factor is 1.75. Full lock speed 10. Restricted lock speed 50. Restricted lock angle 6.5. So I don't really know what any of this does, but it just feels good to me, which is kind of what you want. If you want to feel a certain way, it's not exactly like real life, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it's not gonna be identical to how anything would feel in real life or anything like that. But Now that we've covered the setup, let's go to actually playing the game. Whipping. It's an odd learning curve. It took me a while to learn how to whip in any way. So let's go down to the FMX ramps down here. Don't think that because I can whip and this setup works for me that it'll ever work for you, because it might not. You know, it really depends on how you feel about the bike and this setup. Now this setup's like, it's not loosey loose, but it's also not stable. So it's kind of like in the middle for like beginner whippers. Now, that was insane. What I do is, as I'm coming up to it, I'm standing. So look, you can sit going off the face of the jump or stand. I prefer standing, just because it feels better. And as I'm coming up to it, I lean all the way forward. And as I'm coming up to start to whip, I lean to the left like that and pull all the way back with all my weight, all the way back. So I'll show you what that looks like. So, standing, my whole body's forward, lean to the left and pull back. And that'll do most of the work for you, but you can't bring it back without doing other things. So, I will tell you how to lean or bring it back. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. Basically what I do, if I have a good whip, oh my god, if I have a good whip and I'm not nose diving or going really far back, what I always do to bring it back is I lean all the way forward, and I sit down in the air. Now, I don't know what it does. It might just be with my setup, but I'll show you the difference between standing up while you bring it back. So this is standing up, bringing it back. It's kind of slow, and I didn't have enough time to really bring it back. But for some reason, I'm not sure why, when I sit down in the air, it brings back a lot easier. So I'll show you what that looks like. And now I sit, and it just comes right back. And brake tapping, if your rear wheel is all the way up here in the air, then you want to brake tap. So you just tap the rear brake, and you should be good. Alright, so if you nosedive, so let's just say nosedive like this, you want to hit the throttle. Hit the throttle as hard as you possibly can. Because if you don't hit the throttle in the air when you're pulling back, it's gonna feel heavy and it's gonna not work at all. So in the air, you want to hit the throttle when you try to bring it back. So I'll show you. If I try and bring it back without throttle, it kind of like, you can't, it like stays flat, and it's odd. So it's kind of weird. Like, I've done it before, but it's not ideal. Now, if I hit the throttle at the right time, which is if you hit the throttle at the right time, which is right about here, you can bring it back. And I went too far, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know how to do anti-whips. Go to a different video if you want anything like that. But let's go into the beginner guide. So turning. You want to lean forward the whole time and make sure you sit down. So look, I'm leaning forward and I hit the throttle going into the apex. So let off and then hit the throttle right about there, which is the apex. yeah, and then when you hit ruts, slowly progress through them. So look, if I hit this as fast as I possibly can, okay. Well, that's not what I want to do. Let's find a different rut without all that. Let's go up this hill. Should have some good ruts. Okay, let's just use the ruts after this jump as an example. So look, if I try and hit him as fast as I can, I'm gonna either slide out or fall out of it because that's just not the same as a bank turn. Take it slow. Lean forward. Oh my god. Lean forward. Make sure you're doing it correctly and leaning the correct amount, because you don't want to hit the throttle and lean too much or too little and either fly out of it like that or do that. But yeah, I think that's just about it. I mean, if there's anything else I didn't cover and you want me to, just leave it in the comments and I will do it. So yeah, that is how to whip plus setup plus kind of a beginner guide-ish. And see you next time.